We are live. Come on in. You are watching Real Talk with Mary Grace. I'm Mary Grace. This is Mary Grace Media. Welcome to the channel. Hello to everyone who is on Periscope and YouTube and Facebook and Clout Hub. Glad you're here. It's good to see everybody. Hello. We are live. Let me see if I can find it. I like to watch along with everybody else. It takes a few minutes delay. There we go. Okay. As you're coming in, please share this. Please send it out to everyone in your network. Thank you to everybody who does share it regularly. If you are on Facebook, I do ask that you share this into the groups that you belong to. That's how we hack the algorithm on Facebook, and we don't have to give them money to get our word out. Okay, so it's good to see everybody. And if you're on YouTube, I wanted to thank you for following on that channel. We are over 1,000 subscribers over there. And so far we have the channel up and we haven't been censored over there. So that's great. And we're going to take advantage of as many free platforms as we can while we are here. Right now I'm doing Periscope, and Periscope is going to change over to Twitter Live Studio, sort of like YouTube, and at some point they'll do that. And when they do that, we'll make the change. So don't worry, we'll figure it out. And if you're here now, just stay here. If for some reason you can't start a Periscope account, that's probably why. And so you can watch through Twitter. And while I'm talking about accounts, I wanted to shout out to somebody who emailed me, Linda M. You emailed me and you sent me an email about the live stream that we're doing tonight, the Facebook Live for superfoods. And so please make sure that you get back to me with a different email, because I tried to respond and I got an error message. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you have my email address blocked in your Yahoo, but that's the situation. Okay. So Linda M., please get to me if you want to be on the live stream that we're doing on Facebook. And anybody else who wants to participate in that, I talked about it yesterday after I got shut down, and that is that we are doing a Facebook Live. We're doing a contest where you can enter to win over $400 worth of superfoods. And all you have to do is show up and participate and be on that live stream for the time that we're doing it. But you have to get an invitation. It's a private group. And so you message me through that link, through my email, which is info@marygracemedia.com. So you can send me a message if you want to participate in that. If you've purchased before, or if you're brand new, if you want to find out what it's all about, either way, you can message me and I'll give you a link to come into that Facebook Live. Okay, I'm reading the chat while I'm talking, so if I sound a little bit distracted, that's why. I'm reading the chat at the same time. Now, here's the thing. People can get on any platform they want to. It's still a free country. I use Twitter because the president is there, and so I will be streaming on Twitter. And I do need to let you know that when I'm live in the studio, I go live on multiple platforms. When I'm out in the field and I do live streams, for example, from the march, if you want to watch me, then you'll need to be most likely on Twitter when I switch over to that. That's just the way it is. The president's on Twitter. So I'm going to stay on Twitter as long as he's there. And I am on Parler, I am on Clout Hub, I am on Rumble, but this is where I am, and it works pretty good. So it's up to you. Everybody has a choice. We are not communist yet, and so everybody can make their choice. And thank you to those of you who follow me on whatever platform it is. And if you're not happy here, if you don't like the content, I understand. And it's okay to self-deport and not be here, because that function is built in too. All right, so thank you again for being here. I wanted to start out by telling you a little bit about the executive order that the president has, that the president signed in 2012, in 2018, on December 12th of 2018. I do want to talk about that. And let me just pull it up here. Okay. I want to talk about it because there's been a little bit of drama about that. And yesterday, the news came out that the DNI wouldn't have the report tomorrow. And if you know what I'm talking about, this is an executive order that the president signed on December 12th of 2018, and it had to do with foreign interference in our elections. And it's easy to find. It's on the whitehouse.gov website. And if you just Google September, okay, I said December 12th, you're right. Sorry, September 12th, 2018. Lots of dates in my head. Thank you for the person that corrected me on that. Yeah, so September 12th, 2018. So it was right before the midterm elections in 2018. You can Google that. You can read through. It's not that long, but there's some things in it that I think people have been a little bit confused about. And so I wanted to bring some clarification because, as usual, there is a lot of drama around what's happening right now. Okay. And I just wanted to bring some clarity. So one of the things I wanted to clarify for you is that Richard Grenell is telling us a little bit about what to expect. And I'm listening to Richard Grenell. I'm paying attention to him. I'm paying attention to DNI Radcliffe, and I'm paying attention to the president. And so if they tell me that I need to worry and that I need to get my hair on fire and have doubts about what's happening, then I'm going to do that. But other than that, I'm going to stay steady. I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to be at peace about what's coming. And I recommend that you do that as well. Okay. So DNI Radcliffe, the article came out. It said, it was a Bloomberg article, and it was titled, Trump Spy Chief Stirs Dispute Over China Election Meddling Views. And so the CCP media is, of course, trying to discredit. Yes, thank you, Robert. I also listened to Pompeo. Okay. Now I've got a lot of questions here about how we're running out of time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're good. So just relax. Okay. But let me tell you what's happening in the media right now. Remember, the media, for the most part, is propaganda. It is CCP controlled DNC media. And so the articles that are going to be coming out, even from supposed, conservative media, of which Bloomberg is not, they're going to be trying to get you upset. They're going to be trying to get you into a state of outrage. They're going to be trying to get you into a state of anxiety. That's what they do. And so you have to resist that. Okay. Now, the headline is trying to disparage and discredit DNI Radcliffe. And Richard Grenell tweeted out the article, and he said, John Radcliffe has access to the most sensitive material. This is important. Okay. And so remember, when the mainstream media, when the Mockingbird media tries to tell you that things are going wrong and that the wheels are falling off, they're doing that to get you into a state of anxiety. And so it's your choice whether you go there or not. Somebody made a mention about Juan 07, and if you would please send me a link to what you're seeing, I would appreciate it. info@marygracemedia.com. I would like to see that. Okay, so then Richard Grenell tweets again last night, and he says DNI Radcliffe is standing up for career analysts who want their views to be accurately reflected. In other words, fighting to keep intelligence from being politicized. What he's saying to you is that DNI Radcliffe, a lot of people think that they're slow walking this report, that tomorrow's the deadline, that they're missing the deadline intentionally, yada, yada, yada. Well, I want to clarify something, and I believe Richard Grenell is clarifying as well. So I want to go to the wording of the executive order, and I want to give you the wording directly from the executive order. How about we do that so that you don't have to worry or be in a state of anxiety? Because I was looking at this, and let me see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. All of my tabs got mixed up on the iPad. It's pretty annoying. All right, so this is what it says. I want you to listen to this, and I think that it'll help you to be a little more at peace about deadlines, okay? It says, I hereby order, this is section 1A, not later than 45 days after the conclusion of a United States election, the Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the heads of any other appropriate executive departments and agencies, shall conduct an assessment of any information indicating that a foreign government or any person acting as an agent of or on behalf of a foreign government has acted with the intent or purpose of interfering in that election. Okay? And so okay, so there's that. And then it says the assessment shall identify to the maximum extent ascertainable the nature of any foreign interference and any methods employed to execute it, the persons involved, and the foreign government or governments that authorized, directed, sponsored, or supported it. The DNI shall deliver this assessment and appropriate supporting information to the president. Okay, and then it says within 45 days of receiving the assessment and information described in this order, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security, in consultation with the heads of any appropriate things, okay, this is what they shall do, okay? They shall do this. So they shall deliver to the President, the Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of Defense, a report. So this is what I want to point out. I want you to be, because I'm reading this, and I think that people have been a little bit confused, because I think that people are reading into this and says they're thinking that the report is due tomorrow. And they're also thinking that the report is going to be released to the public. And this is where I think people are getting their expectations to a level that is not realistic. So stick with me here, all right? The report, it doesn't say, first of all, that the report is to the public. Who is the report going to? Is it going to the public? Is it being released to the media? Okay. No, it doesn't say in this executive order that the report is going to the public. It doesn't say the report is required to be released to the media. Who is getting the report? The report goes to the President, the Secretary of State, right? That's who it goes to. So I just want you to understand the wording here. I want you to understand the time frame. Okay, so just listen again. It says not later than 45 days after the conclusion of a United States election, DNI, okay, and then it names all those people, shall conduct an assessment of any information. Okay, so shall conduct an assessment. I want you to understand what's going on here, because I think you're getting yourself twisted up over language that doesn't exist and over an expectation that is that you somehow have allowed to come into play here. All right, so listen, Jean, because you're not hearing me, because you're stuck on tomorrow. All right, there's nothing in here that says the report has to be ready tomorrow. That's a fallacy. All right, listen. Not later than 45 days, okay, they conduct an investigation. Okay, are you with me on this? This is not the same as delivering a report. I want you to be clear on this, because people are setting themselves up with expectations. It's stressful enough there's enough stress without having an expectation based on something that doesn't exist. Okay? Listen to what I'm saying. Is there anything in here that says that a report has to be delivered? Okay? No, there's not. And the other thing I want you to understand, and the thing that I've been telling you over and over and over, is that there are a lot of optics here. Because when the president and his team are communicating, everybody's watching them. Everybody's watching, not just us. Okay, we're the good guys. We want to know what's going on, but the whole world is watching. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So if you are the enemy and you've just tried to steal an election and you just staged a coup and you know that this executive order exists and there is language in the order that indicates that a report will come out on the 18th of December or 45 days after the election, right? If the DNI comes out and says it's delayed and the public thinks that it's being slow walked, all right, that doesn't mean anything really, because the president is getting information that you're not getting. I just want to be very clear about this. All the drama and the noise about this being delayed isn't necessarily it could be a nothing burger. That's what I'm saying. All right. So I just want you to understand this. Okay. And yeah. So JC is making a good point. He's saying consult the source, not the mainstream media. And that includes Fox. Okay. So I'm going to read this language again. It says not later than 45 days. Okay. They shall conduct an assessment. And then it says within 45 days of receiving the assessment. So let's think about this for a minute. Think about this. Conducting an assessment within 45 days. All right. And then within 45 days of receiving the assessment, all right, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Homeland, right? Then they take action. So they have to act within 45 days. Are you tracking with me here? This is important because there's language in here. This is the language of the executive order. And I'm trying to help you. Not suffer from from a letdown, from a false expectation. Okay. Now, again, the DNI may well say for public consumption, the report is being delayed. So what? They're not breaking the executive order. They may have already conducted the assessment. But one thing to understand here also is that that massive intel came out within the last few days, and that is about the SolarWinds hack on all of the government agencies. And so one of the things that the DNI made very clear is that they are digging into that information and they're assessing that. The other thing that's happening also is that that there is more revelation coming out every single day about election fraud. Sidney Powell has cases that are docketed for the Supreme Court. The Arizona what do you call it? Assessment, not the assessment, the forensic analysis of the voting machines hasn't even happened. Okay, so this is important to understand. There are analysts who are white hats. There are analysts who are doing the right thing, and they need the time to do this correctly. And so anybody that's telling you that they're missing a deadline, I think you're missing the point, and I think you're getting hung up on a date that I've talked about this date before. I admit I've said that the report is due on the 18th, but then I went back and looked at the information. I looked at it. I looked at the EO. I read the language, and it doesn't say that the report is due on that day. Are you tracking with me? I just wanted to be clear about that. Okay. And the time is what it is. So you can go back and listen to my broadcast from a couple of days ago. If you feel stressed, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the President of the United States of America, because I want you to understand what happens if this doesn't go our way. If the president somehow fails, if what we're talking about, if this constitutional path doesn't come to fruition, if for some reason, it doesn't come out to play, I want you to understand what they will do to this president and his family. This is a zero-sum game. The people who are doing this want you dead. They want the president dead. They will prosecute him and his family from now until forever. He and his family will never be out of court. He and his family will never, ever be out of litigation. He and his family will probably be in prison. You need to understand that, because the direction that these people are going is the same direction of the CCP. Look at what they do to political dissidents. We already see it happening in this country. Anybody that has an opposing viewpoint is considered wackadoodle, crazy, undemocratic. Okay? You have to take a look at what happens in these other countries to political dissidents. And if you think they're not coming for you, if you think it's stressful now, then I don't know what to tell you. If you're feeling stressful, take a break, because, maybe you're not cut out for it. Maybe you just need a break. That's okay. But, I don't know what to say. This is a zero-sum game. The fight is far from over. It's not going to be, nobody's going to snap their fingers and fix this tomorrow. This is a problem that has been allowed to fester for years and years and years. Okay? The one thing, a couple of things though that we have on our side is that we have access to all of the intel. We have access to everything they're saying and doing. We also have God. We also have the angel armies on our side. And so this is important. It's important to understand. And I think that, you need to not get mired in things like this. So this is one part. It's a big part of what's going on. I get that. But when it comes to the bigger picture, it's so important to understand that this is going to play out. This is going to play out the way it's going to play out. And the timing isn't up to you. It's not in your hands. Now, that brings me to a different a different tack here. Okay. So just go read the executive order, go do that, and make sure that you understand that the language in it is what's important. It's the language in the executive order. It's not what the media says. It's not what any pundit says. It's not what anybody says. Just read the language. Okay. So just understand that. And so let me just jump over for a minute, because now I want to talk about Lin Wood. All right. I want to talk about Lin Wood. All right. So Lin Wood is doing something interesting, and that is this. I told you early on in this process that there are certain things the president can talk about. There are certain things the president can expose, and he's able to do that, and he uses Twitter to do that. But here's what I've explained before. One of the reasons that Lin Wood and Sidney Powell are not on the president's legal team is that it allows them to operate outside of the scrutiny and the limitations of working for the government. They're free agents. And and that's important right now because they can say things that the president can't say. Lynn Wood is exposing corruption at a breakneck pace on Twitter. He's talking about it nonstop. I mean, he's the one who exposed Brian Kemp. He exposed the Secretary of State in Georgia. He's exposing the deputy Secretary of State. I mean, there's a lot going on, and in a way, it's very good because I told you about how different people are surrogates for politicians. And so Lynn Wood is a surrogate for President Trump. He can talk and he can say things that the president can't say. And this is important to understand. This is why we follow people like him on Twitter and we pay attention to what he says. Because imagine if the president right now started tweeting about John Roberts being on the Epstein flights and being compromised and hating the president. Then it would look like the president is going after the courts, that he's trying to influence the courts. Okay? Lynn Wood is a man who has nothing to lose and everything to gain. He has money, he has power, he has standing, he has a voice. He's not afraid. And that's the key. So he is sort of a counterpart to President Trump. He has a lot of the things that President Trump has, except he's not limited. He's not limited by being the president. He doesn't have the same scrutiny. They can't really hurt him. You see what I mean? They can criticize him all they want. They can call him crazy. They can put him in the crazy box. It's not going to matter. He doesn't care. All right? And so he is going to expose corruption in ways that the president can't do. And so here's what I want you to understand is that that Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell, they're working very closely with the president, with General Flynn. They're in touch with them, okay? They're in touch with Rudy Giuliani. They're still working with them, okay? So the other thing about Lynn Wood is that he has the best researchers. Because he's a very high-powered lawyer. He has a team of people. He has private investigators. He has intel. He has access to information. And so he can find information. He can send people out. I mean, he's not just, when he says things about these people and the corruption, he's not just spitballing on Twitter. He's not just coming out and saying, hey, I think Brian Kemp is corrupt. I just have a hunch. I don't know, but I think he is. Because here's the thing, Lynn Wood understands defamation and libel law because he has won massive, massive lawsuits against people who have defamed and libeled individuals. All right? So when he makes a claim like this, he knows that he can be sued. And he actually wants to be sued by these people because then everything will come out in discovery. Okay? Do you see how he's playing this game? All right? So when Lynn Wood comes out with an accusation, it has weight behind it. It has he's got the receipts because he knows that if he's wrong and these people sue him, then he can lose everything. If you accuse somebody like John Roberts of being a frequent flyer to Epstein Island and you don't have the receipts to back it up and you know how defamation law works, I mean, do you think Lynn Wood is stupid? Do you see where this is going? So imagine if President Trump had the platform and the ability to say all of these things that needed to be said. Now, sometimes the president will ask questions on Twitter. Remember, he doesn't ask a question he doesn't already know the answer to, all right? So imagine if the president had a voice, an unfettered voice with no fear and nothing to lose, and he were able to get exposure to the things that he wants exposed, how would he do it? Who would he use as a voice to do that? See what I mean? Do you see how Len Wood is coming into this story? It's pretty brilliant, actually, the things that he's coming up with. And, so he's not just blowing smoke, all right? And here's what we found out today about John Roberts. And Marianne, if you're on, this is interesting because you sent me a transcript of something and we weren't sure if it was true, but then this video surfaced today. And I want you to, this is a good source who's releasing a video.
Defense.
Okay, hold on. Right. This came out on C-SPAN. It's about 2 minutes long.
It was written by someone who's...
All right. I don't know who the speaker is here. Okay, but this is who, I don't know who this is, but this is on C-SPAN. Okay, I'm just gonna play. I'm just gonna play this for you. Yeah, Delia's telling me that he flew to different places, but here's what I'm saying, Delia. I'm telling you that Len Wood is coming out and accusing John Roberts of being with Epstein. So there's more to this. I know what you're saying. I think that people have debunked those flight logs and said that John Roberts, that it wasn't the same one. But we've got Len Wood coming out, and if he's coming out making these accusations or insinuations, then he's got the receipts. Okay, but I heard this morning that John Roberts refused the Texas lawsuit. Okay, it's a representative in Texas. So some of you have heard this. So here's the story of what went on in chambers with all of the Supreme Court justices. Okay, I'm just going to play the audio.
A current staffer for one of the Supreme Court justices, and this, I'll just describe the report to you that I read, and you can make of it what you will. He said that the justices, as they always do, went into a closed room to discuss, cases they're taking or to debate. There's no phones, no computers, no nothing. No one else is in the room except for the 9 justices. It's typically very civil. They usually don't hear any sound. They just debate what they're doing. But when the Texas case was brought up, he said he heard screaming through the walls as Justice Roberts and the other liberal justices were insisting that this case not be taken up. And the reason, the words that were heard through the wall when Justice Thomas and Justice Alito were citing Bush versus Gore from John Roberts were, I don't give up about that case. I don't want to hear about it. At that time, we didn't have riots. So what he was saying was that he was afraid of what would happen if they did the right thing. And I'm sorry, but that is moral cowardice.
Okay, so somebody brought up a point in the chat, and they said that the Supreme Court hasn't met in person for quite some time. So is it possible that this meeting happened? I don't know. That's a good question. But here's the thing. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. Maybe they were having a Zoom meeting. I don't know. But that's a good question. I don't know the answer to it, but I'm telling you that this is, usually when I see something like this, I saw somebody was telling me, somebody wrote the transcript out to that particular meeting, but I don't know. I mean, but here's the thing. It is pretty interesting, the judgments or the opinions that we've seen from John Roberts. I mean, we know he's compromised, okay? And there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot happening. There are some crazy situations, and it is it's so odd the way that the Supreme Court has ruled on a number of cases, right? And John Roberts has been a coward, and we've known that because, like Obamacare, he's the one who saddled us with Obamacare, okay? And so, I get your point, what you're saying, Corona. All right. I get what you're saying. This may not be entirely true. However, I am making the case for the fact that John Roberts is totally compromised. So whether this particular situation happened or not, I don't even think that's relevant because we know and we've seen the opinions of John Roberts. We've seen his actions. We got settled with Obamacare because of John Roberts, because of the way he ruled on that. And so he is no friend of the the American people. He's not. He's absolutely not. And so it is what it is. And the comment that I'm seeing is somebody on Periscope. Okay, so he's compromised. We know he is, and he's deep state. He's not our friend. Lin Wood is calling him out, and the main point about that is that Lin Wood doesn't do that. He doesn't come out with accusations that he can't back up, and so something's going down. All right. And whether they were in person or whether it was a Zoom meeting or whether some of the people were there in person and some were on Zoom, I think that's immaterial. And it is what it is. So we know that John Roberts is trouble, and we'll see. We'll see what comes out of this. All right. And let's see. Some people have been asking me to talk about Beth Moore and about her a statement that she made. She blocked me on Twitter a couple months ago. So, actually during the impeachment. So there's that, and I can't see her tweets. But I am gonna talk about Beth Moore. I'm just not gonna do it today because I don't have a lot of time. There is a big kerfuffle because she has really adopted a religious spirit. And, she hates President Trump, and she thinks that Trump supporters are worshiping him, that he's a false idol, that he's a false god. So it's an interesting situation. And Johnny Enlow and what's the other person, Veronica West, have called her out on it. So I think that we're seeing a lot of people being exposed. We are seeing false prophets. We're seeing people that have been compromised, people that have turned because of wealth. They've been corrupted by wealth. There's different reasons, but we've seen some big problems with Beth Moore, and so I will address that in another show. I haven't completely ignored it. The other thing that people are wanting me to talk about is Beth Moore, the Christian speaker. I've called her out too. I did a whole show about her during the impeachment, and she blocked me on Twitter because I tried to ask her questions. And so the other thing that people have been asking me about is the medication that's being circulated that people may or may not take by injection. And that is a very hot topic. That is a topic that that Twitter has said that any dissenting views on that will be removed. And it is not my lane. It's not my wheelhouse. It's not an area that I have researched extensively. And so I'm not going to go into details about that. But what I do want to encourage you to do is with any medication that you take, any supplement, any over-the-counter, any prescription, any preventive, any injection, that you make sure that you take that you take the time to educate yourself, that you ask for the package insert, that you read everything, that you read the warnings, that you read the disclaimers. For example, they are saying that even after you take it, you could still get this virus. For example, they're saying that there could be side effects. And so again, I just want to be clear that anytime you take anything, especially by prescription, that it is incumbent upon you to educate yourself. And so that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to put that out there. And if for some reason you really feel very strongly about it, and you're in a situation where you are being quote forced to take it, I would recommend that you go to thehealthyamerican.org, and that is a website where she gives you information on how to research things like this and how to do, for example, a religious objection to that type of thing. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to just leave that right there because it's just not an area that I feel confident in researching. I mean, I do my own research whenever I think about taking any kind of medication. And so I'm encouraging you to do the same thing. Don't depend on a doctor. Yes, Peggy Hall on the thehealthyamerican.org. Don't depend on a doctor to tell you what it is that you need to know or think about this. Yeah, there is a provision that says that you can't sue them. So they've somehow managed to opt out of litigation, to get protection from litigation. So that's something to think about, right? And I just want you to I just want you to be aware of that. Okay, so just be clear on what it is that you are choosing and what you're putting in your body, whether it's food or a prevention mechanism or an injection or something that you swallow that's prescribed. It's really your choice about how you how you conduct your business in that area. Okay. Somebody's asking, what about a college that's forcing it? Again, I would pursue the religious exemption route. That's what I would do. That's what parents do. I think that would be the wisest route to take. And I don't know, what the components of this particular thing are. I just don't know enough about it. And I'm not going to go there again because it is not, it's just not my area. Okay. It's not my area of expertise. And I haven't built a platform on that. There are a lot of people out there who are doing incredible research on it. And so, if there's anyone in the chat who has some good resources that you want to direct people to, please feel free to do that. But it's really incumbent upon you to educate yourself. Okay. And so just be aware of that. All right. I did want to address it because I do get emails about it. I'm not ignoring you. But I have to pick my battles. There's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of things that I could talk about on an everyday basis. Okay. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, the airlines, don't get me started on the airlines right now. I am just not at all happy with what I'm seeing with the airlines. They're absolutely, they've turned into Nazis. Okay, it's horrible. But I do recommend that you go to thehealthyamerican.org. She has done a lot of research. Some of her, she does charge for some of her courses and some of her materials, but I think that it's worth it because she's done a ton of research and she's put together a lot of materials. So, people need to be compensated for their work. And so just be aware of that. And be aware that when you go to Walmart or Sam's Club or whatever, it's optional for the military. Okay. Now, one of the things that I know for sure is that if you have, with the flu shot, if you have an egg allergy, then you can't take it. I have an egg allergy. And so, that's my out for that. And so, you just have to be aware, of your options, and you have to research your options. Okay. So just be aware of that. All right. There was a really crazy troll in the chat and I can't find them. I was going to delete them. All right. So listen, I'm gonna put this out here one more time. There are a lot of people who are interested in superfoods, and there is a Facebook Live at 6 o'clock today. So I'm gonna wind up here in a minute. But if you want to get if you want to take part in that, jump on, send me an email so that you can get a link to the private group. It's a private Facebook group, and we're doing a Facebook Live, and you can participate in that, and you can have a chance to win about $400 worth of superfoods. It's a great deal. So as long as you're there and you're participating, you get a free entry into the superfoods contest. Okay, so it's a great deal. And if you've been thinking about buying the superfoods and it's just not in your budget right now, or if you just want to stock up, or if you have a friend that you want to share it with, or whatever, make sure that you send me a message, info@marygracemedia.com. And so if you want more information about the superfoods, we are doing a transformation group, a 30-day transformation, so that you can get involved with that. And that is starting, that transformation group, the preparation group is meeting on December 28th. We're going to do a Zoom. Okay. And I don't love Zoom, but I'm not organizing all of this. So don't lecture me about Zoom. So we're doing this. It's not just for newbies, Delia, you can come too. So Delia has lost 56 pounds in about just over 4 months on the superfoods. A lot of other people have too. I get great testimonials. People have had tons of health issues that they've been able to deal with the superfoods. It's really fantastic. And so the great thing about right now is if you get on the superfoods now, you're going to be able to be in our group. We have a private Facebook group that is supporting the transformation, and we have once a week, we're going to be meeting and doing group coaching on Zoom. And so this is fantastic because you're getting when you buy the superfoods, and you get a voucher from me to save $100 or more off of your order, and then you're going to get the group coaching, and you're going to get the Facebook group. So it's really amazing. It's an incredible value. So if you're wanting to make some changes, absolutely no drugs, no stimulants, nothing like that. It's all GMO free, everything that we have. So Heather, just send me an email and I'll give you some information, because I have an explainer video that goes into how the superfoods work and what's the ingredients and things like that. Okay. info@marygracemedia.com. I'll give you more information about that. Those are great questions. And if you write to me, I can give you the voucher. So the voucher is really important because it saves you money. Okay. And when we do the transformation group, it's going to be really fun. Delia actually started out in one of our transformation groups, and that was really helpful for her because she got some inspiration. She got to meet some other people. There's a whole plan to help you through this so that you're transforming your eating, you're transforming your health, but you're putting the best nutrition on the planet into your body. And the best thing about it is it gets delivered right to your door. And so if you're in a state that's locking down, if you're in a place that is, just making it harder and harder to shop, this is great. I love it. And if you don't have Facebook for the transformation, you don't have to get into the group. The transformation coaching group is with Zoom, okay? And people can do Zoom just through their phones. Just so you know. Here's the thing: when you sign up for the transformation kit, you actually get a little tape measure and you get a little chart so you can do your measurements. It's really easy, I think. They make it so easy. Everything is just there for you. And the group, and you combine that with the group and the coaching, it's really good. It's just a good setup, I think. Julie said, definitely interested in this. Yeah, if you have autoimmune conditions it's very supportive for that. That's how I got started on superfoods, because I have an autoimmune condition, and so it really helped me a lot. It helped a lot, and so that's sort of a big deal for me. That's why it's been so good, and that's why I recommend it. Yeah. Okay. So I am going to, let's see. Delia has people have questions for Delia. I should do a show just with Delia so she can talk about superfoods. Lynn said it's foolproof and delicious. Yeah, if you have lupus, yeah, I think a lot of people in the group with lupus, Hashimoto's, a lot of women have Hashimoto's, but men have it too. But yeah, it's gluten free. These are great questions. Yeah, so email me info@marygracemedia.com. And there's also, if you like it and you want to get other people to jump into the group with you, you can actually get your own referral code, and I can show you how to get your superfoods paid for, right? So it's great. Lady Liberty, send me a message, and I'll, you should actually get in the Facebook group tonight. Okay, Luann said, I've not been sick at all since starting the superfoods. That's awesome, because you started like back in the summer. Yeah, changes in my skin, hair, hydration. Yeah, it's a really good, it's the best thing I've ever done health-wise, and I'm a picky eater, you guys. Yeah. So send me an email. It's info@marygracemedia.com, and I can give you the information. I'm going to jump off now so I can get people the links to the Facebook, but I'll be back. I'll do some live. I may be, Heather, let me see. Yeah, Heather, I got your email. I'll check it in a minute. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be live this weekend, but I'll be back for sure on Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Our superfoods are good for kids, families, and dogs too. FYI. I actually give superfoods to my cat, Barley. He has superfoods every morning. Yeah, Karen. I don't know if I got yours. Okay. Mental fog, it's really helpful. Yeah, for mental fog, for sure. Yeah. Because you state your blood sugar, it helps with inflammation, blood sugar. These are great questions. Yeah. I can't claim any cures. I'm not a doctor, but a lot of people get really good results for things like that. I will tell you that. Okay. So I'm going to jump off. I'll be back Monday at 5 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you're following me, and make sure you can go to my website, marygracemedia.com. You can contact me through the website. You can contact me at info@marygracemedia.com. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Minnie. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, CloudHub, where else? Periscope, and I am also on Rumble. And yeah, Delia, you should give it. I give the super meal to Barley. He's so big. He's gigantic now. He's crazy. Yeah, make sure you contact me. Okay. Yeah, inflammation. All right. So I'll show you guys a picture of Barley. Everybody keeps asking about him, and then I'm going to go. Okay. You want to see him? He's with my dad. They're reading the paper. Look. How cute is that? Look how big he is. Can you believe that? Do you remember when he almost died? Anyway, he pretty much runs the house now. But he's ginormous. Huge. And he's not even, I think he's like 6 months old. He's so big. Okay, so I'll be back on Monday. Thank you everybody for being here. And I will, Minnie says she's available for adoption. Yeah, I know. Isn't he cute? Okay, I'm going to get these emails to everybody so they can get in the Facebook group. All right, I will be back Monday. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. And just remember, just be at peace. Just pray. Pray for the president. The president needs our prayers. Sidney Powell and his team, they all need the prayers. Okay. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.